The Stirling Ranges. Located in Western Australia's Great Southern Region. In my opinion, it's one of Australia's most underrated mountain ranges. I've travelled back to this incredible place to take on 6 mountains and show you exactly why it should be on every hiker's bucket list. Hey guys, just a quick note about this video. I actually filmed it last year, but unfortunately all the GoPro footage was damaged and I couldn't use any of it. Because of that, I decided to put this video aside for a while. I only recently decided to go back and edit the footage I still had left, which is mainly iPhone clips and drone footage. So please excuse the lack of footage in certain parts of the video, particularly when I'm going up and down the mountains. But I still wanted to share this incredible trip with you, so please enjoy. Stirling Range National Park sits in the far south of Western Australia, just an hour from Albany, where I lived briefly a number of years ago. During that time, I made the most of this incredible place and quickly realised just how underrated it is. Almost 6 years later, I've returned to climb these mountains again. Over the next 2.5 days, I take on the 6 peaks, starting with Mount Trio. I pulled into the car park and began the climb to the summit. The weather was hot and I started struggling early in the hike. Luckily, this was one of the shorter climbs. In fact, none of the 6 mountains take more than 2.5 hours to complete, and all come with incredible views like this. Where I'm on to next. After heading down Mount Trio, I drove to the second and final mountain on my first day in the Stirling Range, Mount Hassel. Ever since my first climb here, I've considered this mountain to be one of Western Australia's most underrated peaks, especially at sunset. Because of that, I was eager to get back up there and catch another one from the summit. What makes this mountain so incredible is the view of Tulbernut Peak and the rolling ranges in the distance, which light up in dramatic fashion as the sun sets. And once again, it did not disappoint. The Stirling Range is well known for its intense winds, but thankfully, I was able to get the drone up. I made my way down the mountain and drove to where I would be staying for the next 2 nights, the Stirling Range Retreat, which is one of the only places you can stay close to the national park. I got to bed not long after getting back, as I had a massive day ahead of me, including an extremely early wake up. It is just after 3 AM, and I got up extremely early for this one. Climbing Bluff Knoll, the most well-known of all the Stirling Range mountains. So yeah, I'm getting up really early to get to the top of the biggest one. Here we go. Rising just shy of 1100 metres, Bluff Knoll isn't just the highest peak in the Stirling Range, it's the tallest in the entire southern half of Western Australia. Because of the height and accessible trail, it is by far the region's most popular mountain. Chasing the early summer sunrise meant one of the earliest starts I've had in recent memory. But despite the brutal wake-up call and an extremely windy summit, those morning colours made it entirely worth it. I really wasn't kidding about the conditions. It was so windy that even standing upright was a battle. Interestingly, this was the only peak out of the 6 I climbed where I actually ran into other hikers. In the distance, I could see the storm I'd tracked on the radar rolling in. Fortunately, it was still a long way off, leaving me free to enjoy a spectacular sunrise. predicted rain that's coming around midday. Hopefully it passes and it doesn't end up hiking. I guess we'll wait and find out. The hike back down was just as rewarding, with incredible views of the mountain range that I completely missed going up in the dark. The early morning light hitting the peaks was absolutely stunning. With 3 out of the 6 hikes now ticked off, I made the quick 10-minute drive back to camp. Just as I sat down for breakfast, the storm I'd spotted earlier hit, bringing a brief but decent amount of rain, which is just what this place needed. Back on the road to mountain number 4, Tallyoobalup Peak. This is easily the most unique mountain of the lot, featuring a cave and castle-like summit. The storm was well and truly gone as I got to the top of Tallyoobalup, with near perfect conditions to get the camera out and send the drone up. It was time to make my way to the mountain I was most excited for, Stirling Peak. It's the second highest mountain in the range, but in my book, it takes the crown for the best summit views and the most exciting climb to the top. It was another intensely windy summit, meaning no drone flights again, but it didn't matter. I was treated to some of the best sunset clouds I've ever seen for a summit. Completely wrecked after a massive day, which started before dawn and packed in 3 mountain climbs, I finally made it back to camp. Unfortunately, an even bigger afternoon storm had hit the retreat while I was out, flooding my tent and forcing me to sleep in my rental car. Despite sleeping in the back seat, I managed to get a solid 10 hours after such an exhausting day. Once packed up, I stopped for breakfast at a local service station, one of the only places you can grab food near the Stirling Ranges. From there, I went to check out a very unique Australian find, the Lily Dutch Windmill. It's a working 16th century style brick flour mill, complete with a traditional ground sail design. Pretty cool. After a quick visit to the windmill, it was time to head toward my 6th and final mountain of the trip, Mount Magog. Another great summit with great Stirling Range views. That's Tully Uber Up, which is the mountain I did during the day yesterday. And there's Tilburn Up Peak, which I did for sunset yesterday. And if you look real closely, you can see in the distance Bluff Knoll. And with that, I knocked off 6 peaks in Stirling Range National Park. This place is a must visit for any Australian hiker, and if you come in summer like me, expect great weather and long days, just be prepared for intense daytime heat. I recommend staying at the Stirling Range retreat or take a 1-hour day trip from Albany. Ultra maps for all the peaks are in the description below. Thanks for watching, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next adventure.